welcome to That Wrestling Show, the podcast where all pro wrestling matters. If you're listening for the very first time, welcome aboard. I am your host, Bill, along with Fro. How you doing, Fro?
I'm doing hot.
You're doing hot.
Mm-hmm.
Want to explain that?
No, it's very warm in Norway for some reason.
Okay. By the way, what did you have for dinner? My mom wanted me to ask you.
I haven't had dinner yet. I'm lazy.
Oh, okay.
Today.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're 6 hours ahead, and it's normally around the time when people have dinner. So.
Yeah, I just been very
Yeah.
I had chips for dinner so far.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before.
How about you?
Oh, I haven't. You know what? I had for breakfast this morning. This is the true breakfast of champions. I had a pastrami and roast beef sandwich and popcorn.
Ooh.
The true breakfast of champions.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Sounds like it. This week we're going to review Backlash and the greatest match ever.
Was there this week?
There was.
Are you sure? Because I can't remember watching the pay-per-view. Oh, wait. I can remember that pay-per-view. It's exactly what I do remember.
Oh, man.
Because it was so good.
It really was.
Fantastic pay-per-view. One of the best pay-per-views. I can't even bother to lie.
Yeah. Excuse me. Plus,
that is how good it was.
We have a lot, and I do mean a lot, of wrestling news to get into. But before we do all of that, I promised everyone here last week an announcement. And I am going to deliver on that announcement because it involves one of our members of our Facebook group. And the reason I didn't want to make the announcement last week was because this individual had not made the announcement public on his Facebook, but he and his fiance did make it public, or make it official, I guess you could say, whatever you want to call it, last week. So I can officially now say that one of our own is no longer on our team, Fro.
I was going to ask, is he gay? But I was like, is that,
well, if you mean
what do you mean our team?
The singles.
I'm not single.
Well, you're not married.
No, but I'm not single.
Well, this guy's going to be married soon. I am talking about former guest of our show, Brian, is engaged to be married. He popped the question to his girlfriend, Mary, who I've met a couple times. Very nice girl. They are engaged, and I was asked to be part of their wedding, and I accepted. So congratulations to Brian and his fiancée, Mary. They're going to get married sometime next year. They haven't really set an official date, but they are getting married. They asked me to be part of the wedding party, and I accepted. So sometime next year, maybe there'll be a show on the road from the wedding. Maybe not. Who knows?
Ooh. That would be cool.
I doubt it, though. But to our Facebook group members, if you can, please send your congratulations to Brian for.
Yeah, congratulations. I was like, he's not in our club anymore. Like, what?
Now.
How could I know what you mean?
I thought you knew. I don't know.
I don't know Brian that much. I know him, but I haven't spoken, so I couldn't guess. I can guess that he was married.
No, he's gonna be married soon, so.
Well, good luck with that, Brian, because I can tell you, being married is so easy.
Oh boy. So I gotta ask.
Oh, is that a spoiler alert that I have been married?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Spoiler alert, I have been married, Brian. Yeah. Come with me, I will tell you all the things you shouldn't do. that is the truth, though.
Can't wait for that conversation.
That podcast.
Yeah.
Listen to Fro giving marriage advice to
soon-to-be married people.
We were together for 8 years, so I think that counts.
Yeah, that does.
Gosh, time flies by. Married for 5. Yeah, 5 years I was married. Think of that.
That's longer than a lot of celebrity couples.
Yeah, and I mean, we were such a hot celebrity couple, me and my ex-wife.
Right. Okay, now let me ask, because
yes,
you had not last week watched Labor of Love with our hero,
right.
Matt Stryker.
Right.
So, is he still on the show?
Have no clue.
What?
I've still not watched it. I know. I'm a bad guy. I am. I'm going to save it. I will tell you. I'll tell you this. I have so much other things to watch than that Labor of Love. I'm very sorry to say this. It's very, very, very long down my list of things I prioritize to watch.
You probably... Go ahead.
Yeah. No, even though I saw 365 Days, one of the worst and Artemis Fowl is...
Yeah, you told me about that.
Holy macaroni, that's a bad movie.
That's what I've heard. You warned me about it. I probably won't see it. So.
Oh, you should not watch it ever. I would rather watch the pay-per-view we watched this week than Artemis Fowl, so that's saying a lot. Yeah. Spoiler alert: Fro didn't like the pay-per-view.
All right. Now we do have.
I'm not sure. That's spoiler alert or not.
2 news bits that I want to talk about briefly before we get to the 2 big news stories of the week.
Yeah, I know of the 2 big things.
Well, let's talk about, first off, the numbers have come in for the Wednesday Night War, and both shows gained viewers this week. NXT had 746,000, and their 18 to 49 rating was a .20. The previous week was 673,000 with a .16, so they went up a bit. AEW had 772,000 viewers with an 18 to 49 rating of a .28, where the previous week was 677,000 with a .23. So somewhere in that 1 week, they gained 95,000 more viewers and went up by .05 in the 18 to 49 demographic.
Wow.
That's pretty good. So both shows had a good week rating-wise. Although my favorite thing all this week was the part where when Britt Baker was found in the dumpster and she fired her assistant, and her assistant's like, I'm free? I can go now? And she's like, no, you're still hired. I was like, damn, you should have said that.
Wow.
Oh, man. That was actually fun to watch this week. They had some good stuff this week.
AEW was maybe my winner of the week because guess what? I did not watch even the recaps of Raw and SmackDown this week. And I will tell you why when we start talking about something that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
There is a reason why I have given up on WWE.
I think a lot of people have after this week.
Wonder what it could be.
Really. I want to talk about a story that Fro broke last week on this show, and that was the situation going on with Evolve Wrestling and the possibility of them selling all their stuff to WWE. So, earlier this week, Pro Wrestling Torch received a leaked message from a private Facebook group. This came from a source in Evolve. The message directed at the roster says that Evolve is going to take a hiatus. Gabe Sapolsky stated in the message that he is going to do away with the private Facebook group because there were no plans to run any more Evolve shows. It was later confirmed that this message is legitimate.
Oh, what a surprise! It's almost like I said it last week or something.
Sapolsky encouraged wrestlers in the Facebook message to stay in touch because this is just a fork in the road.
Do you know what that fork is called? WWE!
Sapolsky issued a statement on refunds of canceled events stating, and I will read this, "We just got an update from eTix. They've made some refunds. The rest will be made in the next week or two. They are working on them and everyone will be refunded. My deepest apologies. It is taking this long. I'm not going to make any excuses, but I assure you this has been the foremost thing on our minds and we are doing everything we can to get this done as quickly as possible. I understand if you are angry and upset. You will be made whole if you were owed a refund. Be safe and well."
It is very sad, but I don't believe a thing that man says.
Really?
Yeah. Why the fuck would I?
Well, Gabe's got a pretty good track record.
Or not.
I think so.
I mean, that man lies for work. I mean, it is extremely hard to believe anything he says.
Well, don't all promoters lie?
To a certain degree, but I do think that Evolve has been under tremendously much pressure, and I do think that saying that, oh, this is just a fork in a row, that's just trying to pronounce all the future, because the future is that they are bankrupt, and you know what? It is extremely hard to pay wrestlers with no money.
Yeah, it is.
Did you know that? It is very hard to pay with absolutely no money.
I mean, the lifespan of a wrestling promotion depends on, number one, how you treat your employees, being the wrestlers, and number two, being able to put on a good product. Now, when you start, with a promotion, you're going to lose money. I mean, there's no hiding that fact. You are going to lose money.
But the thing is, I think, okay, so to explain to new listeners, I do think that Evolve have one thing to blame, and it's only one thing to blame. It is Evolve themselves. Because Evolve didn't think that WWE, I don't know why they didn't think that, but they didn't think that WWE would be uh, going to branch out as much as they did with their performance center. And that is the truth. Like if Evolve Wrestling was still around, it would be still a breeding ground for WWE. And WWE saw that that wasn't where they wanted to put their money.
I think,
like, let's be that honest.
I think the blow that really hurt Evolve Wrestling, and this is just me saying this, is when they decided that NXT would go on USA Network 2 hours every week. That was
I couldn't agree more.
Because
I couldn't agree more.
If you had left it just on the WWE Network, and I think if they had made it 2 hours and kept it on the network, it wouldn't have been a bad blow. But when you say, oh, we're going to put NXT on USA Network opposite another wrestling program, it's going to hurt.
No, I couldn't agree more.
So right now, it's like they've taken the body blows. They're down in the corner. They might not get back up. There's a real possibility. There really is. So, if it is the end, which it sounds like it is.
I mean, I don't see how they can survive. That's the part where I just don't think that's possible. I wish nothing but the best for Evolve, but Evolve have undermined. I think they undermined NXT, and I do think they undermined their platform with WWE, because WWE has, I am sure, going to have had 90% of the money that Evolve has gotten through the years has gone through WWE. Don't you think that number is correct?
Maybe.
Do you think it's less?
Well, I mean, when Evolve started,
right,
there was no connection to WWE. They've only had
I know that
within like the last 3-4 years.
Right. But how long is it that since they have been started, though? 15 years?
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years, yeah. Yeah, no. But like I said, I think it's TV deals. I think it's WWE. I think it's a number of things. And I definitely think it is the boss. I mean, you can say many things about TNA when it was under Dixie. And you can say many things about TNA when it was under Gorgon even. But you can always say that it was their fault to an end that the product wasn't what people were looking for, and therefore was hemorrhaging money. So, just my 2 cents.
Right. Okay, Fro, I'm going to let you pick which topic we discuss here.
Okay.
Do we talk about WWE's Week from Hell, or the sudden revelation, I guess we can say, within the wrestling business of speaking out?
Yeah, we should maybe talk about speaking out part first.
Okay.
I mean, that's the most interesting part.
I think it is. So, this story begins earlier this week, because this is not a WWE topic. This is not an AEW topic. This is an everybody topic.
Oh, definitely.
And I mean everybody. So, it begins early in the week when a woman, and I'm actually going to pull this up, a woman named Victoria
Mm-hmm.
accused David Starr of sexual assault, sexual harassment. Basically,
Right.
the term basically here is gray rape, and I had to look up what gray rape was. So, Victoria talks about how David Starr had cheated on her with other women.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it gets to the point where we find out that David Starr had done this with multiple women, cheating on other women. So, the thing here is, and David Starr even admitted that he was a terrible partner, was not good, and he needed to grow up, and he needs to, get his life together. So, because of this, David Starr, during the week, on Twitter, said that he thinks, not you, not me, he thinks his wrestling career is over. Because of all of this. And some of the stuff I can't even get into because of how graphic it is. And because of this came out, so many promotions, wrestling promotions in Europe, have said, okay, we're not working with this guy anymore. We're done. We're going to strip him of all the titles. He's never working here again. And then Beyond Wrestling, which is his U.S. home promotion, put out something last night that said, we're no longer going to work with David Starr. We're done with him. And it's amazing how and I'm not going to say it's an accusation because it happened to be true. One thing becomes snowballed into bigger things. Because within the last 48 hours, name after name after name after name has been put out saying, this person, sexually assaulted me, this person did this person did that. So, let me tell you about some of the names that we have.
And some of the names are like, oh, that is very shocking. And some of the names are like, I kind of get, I understand that.
We have Jordan Devlin.
Mm-hmm.
We have Wolfgang.
Mm.
We have Dave Lagana, who was the vice president of the NWA.
Mm-hmm.
We have Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Matt Riddle is another
What?
name. Joey Ryan is another name.
I was like, oh, Joe Ryan is on those lists.
Yeah,
What a shock.
Yeah, that one didn't really.
No.
Didn't really.
It's like, didn't really surprise anybody.
And then, just a little while ago, TJ Perkins came out and said the following. And I want to read this because I think we've now gotten to where it is on both sides of the fence, men and women. I've always felt that double standard is wrong. On the flip side, I shared 2 stories last night with a loved one of myself at 15, being taken advantage of, pressured by older girls in wrestling who were 20 to 22 at the time. Hard to share because men are expected to be proud of such things.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it tough in the other direction is guys are both expected to be proud of such things and also shamed for the sexless nature of being proud of such things.
I know.
But it felt uncomfortable, nervous, empty, etc., as anyone would feel in that situation. Difficult to express, I definitely don't suggest it's 50-50 or anything. And I absolutely don't want to take any focus away from anyone who is sharing regardless of gender. There's obviously double standards existing both ways, and everyone's experiences are different and should be viewed individually.
Yeah, I think he's onto something there.
He's right.
And it's very, very well said, I think.
Yeah. And I saw last night, and I wish I had a link so I could share it with you, bro. The list of people that have been accused over the last several months to maybe year or so that have been accused of these things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say this. In this day and age, I really believe in my mind and in my heart, we have to take these accusations very seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we don't, you know, we're going to end up in a society where we're never going to believe these people. And then when we do believe them, it's too late.
Mm.
Now, I want to throw in another name that has been brought up. And this one kind of surprised me. Jim Cornette.
I mean, I think that's the biggest name on the list.
That is, I would say right now that's the biggest name on the list.
Yeah.
So, a Twitter name at AKI_evolution talked about a time when this person was at Ohio Valley Wrestling, where Jim Cornette used to work. Let me read to you some of the things that this person posted. I made a very vague post yesterday about Jim Cornette. In the face of current events, I feel the need to clarify and speak up. During my first year in the business, his wife, Stacy, attempted to groom me. She approached via DM, sent me lewd photos I never asked for, implied protection from the Kentucky Commission stating he was a family friend, and told me she was going to F me as if I didn't have a choice. My experience with them is tame compared to others, though. When Jim was booking at OVW, if you wanted a contract or on his show, you had to perform sexual acts on his wife, many times with him watching. This has happened for many, many years. A close friend of mine was groomed and basically brainwashed by them for years. When he finally escaped, Stacy went to great lengths to not only terrorize him, but to actively try to have other wrestlers physically assault him. I was one of them. She sent me pictures, he had slashed, and bragging about setting him up to lose his job, his apartment, even his car. All because he escaped an extremely toxic relationship and didn't want anything to do with them. So it goes on. I can't really read the rest because it's pretty graphic.
Yeah, and it's I I have shared this on my podcast once. I don't mind sharing it again, but I have had kind of a similar situation where uh, I was with a girl that told people when I was between the age of 16 to 18 and a half years old. My fiance at the time, we were getting married and things like that. And she told people that I hit her. And it was one of the worst things that I have ever felt in my entire life because I felt very like I couldn't say anything against it because maybe I hit her in the sleeve, like when I was turning around, I hit her by accident or anything. But she was going like, "Oh no, he punches me," and things like that.
Right.
So I couldn't speak out. And for somebody that is in that age group between 16 and 18 years old, you are growing up mentally, and it mentally changed me. That's why it took approximately 9 years between we breaking up. No, it was 11 years. 11 years between me breaking up with my ex-girlfriend to I met my now ex-wife. And that was all this feeling of guilt inside of how much like I was an awful person because I hit her when I didn't hit her. And I had many hours of therapy going through that situation before I understood that it wasn't my fault. It was her trying to manipulate the situation. So this is what I'm going to say. I think the Me Too movement and believing the accusers, first and foremost, is nothing that you should do automatically.
Exactly.
There is it could be very hurtful for people if they go around spreading a situation where actually you don't feel like you can comment on it because maybe you have done something. She also had secrets about me that I didn't want her to tell people, and I knew that if I talked shit back, she would tell everybody because she had the grips of me. She had the grips of my balls. I have no problem saying that. So I do think that every thing that has been said from both ladies and men in this situation should be investigated, but it is very important to say that you shouldn't automatically believe them just because they throw out a saying like, if I told you like, oh, Bill punches me every Thursday, like that is okay. Then somebody should look into that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that Bill has actually ever punched me every Thursday.
Exactly.
So it's important for me to have that in the mind that yes, we should believe them and we should support them, but some people are out for other reasons than that we actually don't know, and it can be very hurtful to be sit in a situation where you can't talk back.
Yeah. And I want to go to, and I kept thinking about this last night and earlier today, reading more stuff that came out, to a conversation I had with my dad when I was a teenager. And we had a talk. This was when I was in high school. And this is one of these talks that we had that you wouldn't think would stay with you, but it did. And it's the one rule that I've always gone by if I'm dating, hanging out, whatever. And I want everyone who's listening to this right now, if you're old, if you're young, it doesn't matter. I want you to hear what I'm about to say. If a person says no, it means no. Do not ask them a second time, a third time, an eighth time. Do not make a move on the person. If the person says no, they mean no.
Yeah, no ifs and buts about it.
2 letters. N-O.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people forget that.
No, I couldn't agree more.
And that the hashtag that has been used is hashtag speaking out. And it's not a feeling. And I know this is going to happen. We're going to get a lot more coming out the next several days, maybe the next few weeks. Because I think this kind of stuff has to be coming out.
Mm.
And it's like you said, Fro, some of this stuff may be true.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it may not be true. We don't know the whole story. The only people that know are the people involved in what we're hearing.
Yeah, no, it's just important for me to say that don't rush to conclusions.
Exactly.
It is very important for me to say that there is always a backside of people believing what is said behind your back, and when you feel like when I felt I couldn't talk about it, it was one of the most hurtful situations in my entire life, and it's something I don't envy anybody like in in the entire life. Like it's not a good feeling where you feel like you can't talk back because maybe you have done something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It is awful.
And I've said this to Fro, and he knows this, and I've said this to a bunch of my friends. If you need to talk to somebody, please go talk to someone. Don't be afraid to go talk to someone. Because there will always be someone to listen to you. Even when you think there's no one that will listen to you, somebody is going to always listen to you.
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, I could tell you guys a few times, Fro has either, DM'd me or called me on Skype personally to talk to me.
Yeah.
I've done it with a bunch of my friends. And all you really need, folks, is just that one person in your life. Maybe you need more, and if you need more, it's fine. But you just need that person in your life to listen to you, to be by your side. That's all you really need.
I couldn't agree more.
So please, folks, if you ever have a problem in your life, please go talk to someone. Because the last thing that anyone needs to deal with is you hurting you.
Yeah. No, and it is in the darkest times where everything looks like it's doom and gloom, where you find something to hold on to, and I do think that having something to do, even though if you don't work, like a podcast or anything, just create a situation where you're busy, where your mind is busy. Start creating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It can be as little as a drawing, like just do something that isn't in your mind,
A
but
journal.
actually, a journal, anything.
Anything. And that's what I think people need to hear.
And there we,
Especially at this time.
Yeah.
Is what people need.
And there we have had the most important conversation that we're going to have on this podcast ever. But it's true.
Well,
So it is true.
I don't know. We might not have gotten to that point yet, bro.
It's one of the most important things.
It is one of the most important conversations we've ever had. And I'm glad that we did, because this is a serious topic.
Yep.
And we are taking this very seriously. And I want to go back to a topic that we discussed, I want to say about 4 or 5 weeks ago on this show, which was the whole thing with CZW and the girls coming out, talking about what the owner said and all that. If more people came out and said that during this time, I think there's going to be change. Now, change doesn't happen right away. It takes time. But once the change comes, it will happen. It really will happen.
Definitely.
Now, to get to our other topic. And like I said earlier, in the beginning of the show, WWE has had the week from hell.
To say it mildly.
On so many levels.
I almost feel bad for them.
Really?
I said almost.
Oh, almost. Okay. So we're going to begin.
They have their self to blame, to be completely honest.
So let's begin with Monday. All right? And I sort of want to build this up. So, for those who haven't been paying attention to this story, I know Ted has. He's been on the show a few times, and he actually told me that he watched the video of that guy that's been stalking the Performance Center. Well, he was back there on Monday.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he had gotten, he had a Facebook Live video going, and he's basically violating, this 500 foot wall thing. So it gets a little crazy because, and I kid you not, folks, Dana Brooke and Lacey Evans tried to invite this guy into the Performance Center, not knowing who this guy is that is basically stalking the WWE because he wants to be in WWE. And this guy claims that Wesley Snipes is his dad.
Yep.
That it is a true thing. He has said that Wesley Snipes is his dad. And when he went to court recently, he called the judge baby girl. Oh my God. He better hope he doesn't get that judge again.
The judge wasn't very... Let's say it this way. The judge wasn't really happy to be called baby girl.
No. And then a fan who was there for this taping with his daughter, he goes out of line. Well, he steps out of the line. Let me rephrase that. He steps out of the line. And he gets into a verbal confrontation with this guy. And
because that's also extremely smart.
And he gets to the point where he's like, yo, I'm not afraid to go to jail. You want me to hit you? I'm not afraid to go to jail. Well, good thing you didn't hit this guy, because guess what? You'd be in jail because, boom, there's evidence you said it.
So fucking stupid.
And you know what, folks? That's the least of their concerns. Because after Raw ends.
Oh, this stuff.
After Raw ends, we get the news that we've been waiting for. Because we knew this was going to happen. Somebody in WWE tested positive for COVID-19.
What? Really? What a shock!
It was an NXT wrestler. We don't know who it was. We might never know who it was.
We will never know.
Yeah,
we will never, ever know.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever know.
No, we can speculate till we are green in the face. It doesn't really matter.
Exactly. So, they're doing TV tapings Monday.
Yes.
Tuesday. Well, because of this, one person who was tested positive, and oh, by the way, did we mention to them, Fro, that WWE never did a test before this person had it?
Why the fuck are they allowed to be a company?
Oh my god.
It is so fucking atrocious.
I mean, Fro, AEW has been doing testing.
I know.
New Japan has been doing testing.
I know.
You're the WWE. Anyway, so because of this, they had to delay tapings from Tuesday to Wednesday.
And that isn't the problem, is it? Oh, wait.
Wednesday becomes their worst day of the week and maybe one of the worst days this company has had in freaking years. Because...
I can't do anything else but laugh.
Because they can't start the tapings on time. They are delayed. It gets to the point where they tell the people that work on SmackDown, we're not going to be able to record SmackDown today. Why don't you come back next Friday? As soon as that's heard, boom, they're all gone. And then, to make things even worse, the fans aren't allowed to wear masks.
Say that one more time.
The fans are not allowed to wear masks.
Why the fuck not?
And this is the first time that they're allowing
so
friends and family at these tapings. And Kevin
They're
Dunn,
not allowed to wear masks.
And Kevin Dunn, who is the most beloved member of WWE, tells WWE security, allegedly, to take masks from fans. And he does it over the loudspeaker. And then, to make things even worse, there's a former WWE employee who comes out and talks about the incident last October in Saudi Arabia. And for, his namesake, he has to stay anonymous. So the lawsuit is called, or the person who's suing, his name is CW2. And he talks about how, when we were there, there were people in black militia outfits holding guns, outside of our airplane. And this goes back to the whole thing where Vince and the Prince were having an argument about payment, and Vince pulled the plug on the live telecast at Saudi Arabia going, fuck you, Prince. We're not going to show this show in your country. And, Vince got the hell out of there, and Rock got the hell out of there, and they stranded the rest of the roster in Saudi Arabia with a pissed-off Prince who could probably kill 3/4 of the entire roster by himself.
And get away with it.
Just like that reporter.
Oh, I feel so bad.
No, you don't. No,
I don't. I don't, but I think it's so funny.
Oh my god. Bro.
I mean,
go ahead.
They have to. We have said this for a long time that what will save WWE is when Vince loses power in this company. I think this proves once and for all that the man that is so out of touch with his own company allows something like this to go on is baffling. Baffling. If I was a shareholder in WWE stocks, I would be so fucking afraid of my money right now.
I'd be pissed.
No, I would be so
pissed right
now. And I do think the funny thing is, like, since this came after this atrociously bad pay-per-view, I also feel like that fueled the fire on the internet, because people were kind of like, yes, finally something shit is going on with WWE. I didn't see anybody go like, oh, I feel so sad.
Because there's no reason to. Because there's no reason to. They did it to themselves.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say something, Fro. And I had to think about this. How I wanted to word what I'm about to say. And there may be people that are going to agree with what I say. And there may be people that are going to disagree with what I say. So I'm going to say it. If Vince McMahon is still in power with WWE in 5 years, by the end of this decade, WWE will be gone.
Oh, I totally agree.
There will be no more WWE. If Vince is still if he is still in control in 5 years, this company
could not agree
dead
more.
by the end of the decade.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have like so many books come out, so many documentaries come out about, the downfall of WWE and where was it, where did it begin? You could pinpoint 15 different things that would be it. And you probably would have a legitimate argument. This week would be a very good point.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes back to what I talked about, managing. It's management. It's management. It's management. It's management. If you don't control, that is one of the most important things about the company, is that management is trusted. Management has good rapport. Management has at least some involvement with their own company. Like right now, it looks like WWE is run by an amateurish gang of monkeys.
I mean, we could do so much better, bro, if we ran WWE.
You know what? I think your nephews could do a better job than WWE.
And they're pretty creative. They're pretty smart.
Yes.
Even the 6-year-old is pretty smart. I'm not saying
I think
he's dumb. He's 6 years old, but he's got a pretty good mind.
Yeah, no.
I would, you know what? I probably would let my nephews run the business end of WWE. You and I can do the booking end. You take one show, I'll take another show, and we'll run WWE. How about that?
How about that? We would do smarter booking decisions than they're doing right now. I mean, we're going to talk a lot about it when we talk about the pay-per-view, but I do think that is... I was thinking about it this week, because what is it? where does WWE fail and where does it succeed? And I think I was thinking about that this week because especially with the news of WWE free and everything they are changing, it is very apparent to me that they are in a situation where they are probably bleeding money, and I mean bleeding money left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that 2K's deal with WWE as well, that they dropped this year a real wrestling game will come back and bite WWE in the end. Because do you know what? What is kind of funny is that people get engaged in the weirdest things. I know many gamers that have never ever seen an episode of Raw before they saw that 2K came out with the WWE 2K, and started playing that game, and in that way came involved with wrestling. There is a line between wrestling fans and WWE 2K fans. And I think that the news that they're not coming out with a new one, they are more or less changing their money on this kids game that's coming out, because let's face it, it's a kids wrestling game that's coming out now.
It is. I mean,
yeah.
How many of us have ever wanted to see John Cena get eaten by a
crocodile? but my point is, like, those kind of things has. It is looking more and more like WWE are desperate. I mean, the booking of things is the last straw of many evidence for that WWE is in a desperate situation, and I think they are bleeding. I think the COVID-19 is probably one of the best things that have ever happened to wrestling.
Okay, I'd like to hear why.
And I do say that because I do think it has proven how hysterically this 364 days a year WWE attitude has been. Mm-hmm. They have not had pause in one fucking show during the COVID-19. And I think when people come back and watch that, they will be amused of how a company that is involved with fake fucking fighting is allowed to keep on doing their thing, but people making the fucking masks are not. The doublety and the hypocritical decisions that are made because of wrestling means absolutely nothing.
I mean, the whole thing with WWE is they were going to find a way somehow to keep having a weekly television program, even in the middle of a pandemic. And to a degree, AEW is guilty of that as well. Let's not...
Yes, to a degree, but the situation there is different. There is a difference between that situation.
Oh, God, yeah. There is a huge difference. Because with AEW, number one, they told the wrestlers, hey, if you don't want to be here, that's fine. We're not going to punish you. Your spot's saved. And then the people that they did have, it was like they did the tapings for like a few days, and then they were off. They were off. Whereas with WWE, they would do, say, 3 days of taping.
Yeah.
And then they'd get like a week and a half off, and then they'd come back, do another 3 days of taping, and then, have another week and a half off, and then your biggest show of the year is taped, which you had no choice in. But still, it's taped.
Like we said in that review, that WrestleMania will go down in history for many, many reasons, and I think the biggest reason will never be a good reason.
I think it's a mix of some of it is good and some of it is bad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and one more thing I forgot to add into the COVID-19 story with WWE. KO decided to leave the Performance Center. And WWE was actually okay with it because Kevin Owens' wife's grandfather passed away recently with COVID-19. So,
Yep.
bravo to Kevin Owens. And I actually have to say bravo to WWE for at least making one good decision this week.
Yeah.
But now, we're going to talk about Backlash. I'm going to say it right now, Fro.
Craplash!
Worst pay-per-view of the year.
Oh, definitely.
Even
I think it's
a couple of matches were decent.
Did you know what? I was thinking about it. The last time I hated a wrestling match or a pay-per-view this much was last time we saw the Saudi Arabia one.
Oh, you mean the Super Showdown one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have our grades for this, and actually, Fro did not have a grade on one match, so we'll see if he did put a grade on that match.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we have the ratings from Dave Meltzer, because, you know, Meltz, CBS Sports, and ESPN, and we're going to come to the conclusion today that I am not as nice as Fro and everyone led you on to believe I am. So, let's get to it. We started off with the kickoff match, and I think this is important to note because this was originally going to be on the pay-per-view. But the day of the show, we get a new match, Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders, which we will get to later. So the match that is now on the kickoff is Andrade versus Apollo Crews for the United States titles. Angel Garza and Selena Vega are at ringside. KO comes out. He does commentary. This was actually an enjoyable match. I liked this match. A good back and forth match. I think Apollo Crews is really starting to step his game up here. Andrade's a very good wrestler. He always has been. Just a very good match that was told. The end of the match, Garza tries to get involved. KO gets away from the announcer's table, hits a stunner, and then Apollo Crews hits his power bomb to retain the U.S. title. I gave it a C+.
And guess what? I didn't watch it.
I figured you didn't. You missed a good match. You really did.
I was like, do I care? No.
I mean, I'm not saying it was the match of the year, but I thought it was a good match. Let's see what the others say. Meltzer gave this 3 stars. CBS Sports gave it a B-. And, oh my god, ESPN actually rated a pre-show match.
What?
I know, right? 3.25 out of 5.
So you should send them a letter asking if they are feeling good.
I think we might have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get to the pay-per-view. Our first match is the triple threat match for the women's tag team titles. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, along with the Iconics, challenging Bayley and Sasha Banks, champions. It was a little bit sloppy at times.
The beginning was extremely slow.
It was.
Yeah.
It does pick up, however, and
definitely.
I really liked the ending to this match.
Oh yeah.
Bliss hits the Twisted Bliss onto Peyton Royce. Banks comes in, rolls her up. 1, 2, 3. Bayley and Sasha retain the women's tag team titles. I gave this a D+. You gave it a C-.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're actually sticking with the grade. All right. Meltzer gave this 2 stars. CBS Sports gave it a B. ESPN gave it a 3 out of 5.
I mean, so far I'm not angry at this show.
Oh, no. And then the train goes off the tracks.
It never come back.
Even though it does attempt to later on.
Yes, it tries, but it doesn't.
It does try.
Yes. Runaway train, never looking back.
Really. Because the next match is Jeff Hardy against Sheamus.
Fantastic match. Amazing.
I mean...
So good.
I just never got into this match.
Me neither.
Never got into this match.
I have a litmus test of how good a pay-per-view is.
Okay.
The litmus test is how much do we talk about other things than the match going on? And I can tell you that this whole pay-per-view, we didn't really talk about what's going on the screen because we were more or less bored.
There was like one match that we actually gave a chance to.
Yes.
Deserved the chance.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sheamus ended up winning with 2 bro kicks.
Mm.
I gave it a D-. You gave it an F. We did not give a crap about this match.
No.
It was
bad match.
Bad.
Bad match. Let's see if that F thing comes back again.
Well, are you ready for the ratings?
Mm-hmm.
Meltzer gave this 3 stars.
Oh, Melts.
CBS Sports gave it a B+.
Jesus, mother.
And ESPN is on our side. They gave it 1.25 out of 5.
Oh, good.
So
3 stars and B+. Wow.
How does that get a B+? What match did they see?
Not that match.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Next match is for the Raw Women's title, Nia Jax challenging Asuka. And for a little bit, this is actually a decent match.
Yeah, I think this surprised me in the way that I think Asuka always gets the best out of other wrestlers. I mean, Nia Jax is definitely not one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I don't think she's even in the list. She's probably on my list of worst female wrestlers I know of. So I don't like her. I never liked her. I will never like her. It's just her kind of wrestling style. I like big women. I do think that big women in wrestling has a place. Like, for example, the big... what's the girl that had one match on WWE and got pregnant?
Awesome Kong?
Awesome Kong, thank you.
Oh, she's good. She's very good.
I think Awesome Kong, also the big girl in Impact. Yes.
Jessica Havoc?
Yes, Jessica Havoc is also...
Yeah.
She's also good. I do think that big women in wrestling has a place, but I think the problem here is that she's very like, she can't really, she doesn't have the move set in her, and I think they have moved her too fast into the main roster, and have also used her in a very strange way, because she was supposed to be like the dominant force she was supposed to be like big and scary, and now she's kind of a joke.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the outside. Asuka puts on an armbar. Jax manages to get up. Sort of throws her into the barricade.
Oh, yeah.
And ding, ding, ding. We had a double countout.
Very, very stupid.
Oh, man, this was bad.
Yeah.
Good match. Bad ending. I gave this a C-. You gave it a D+.
Yep.
All right, now let's see if Meltzer and CBS Sports can get themselves back together after that rating from the previous match.
Mm-hmm.
Meltzer gave this 1.25 stars.
Good.
Okay, that's fair. CBS Sports gave it a C-.
Well, a little high.
ESPN gave it 1.75 out of 5.
Okay, good.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. All right, next match is a handicap match for the Universal title. Miz and John Morrison challenging Braun Strowman.
I like 3 out of the 4, 2 out of the 3 wrestlers I like.
Well, let's set this up because there's a lot that happened prior to this match.
And it's also a very stupid stipulation with a very stupid rule set that nobody have still explained to me why the rule set is how it is, because it's not really a handicap match.
Okay. Well, if you happen to watch the kickoff, like I did, they played the brand new Miz and John Morrison music video.
I've seen it afterwards, by the way. That was amazing.
Makes me want to go buy a copy of Honka 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 Honky Love. We are then told during the show, during a Miz and Morrison promo, that they cannot be co-champions. Only one of them can be the champion if they get a fall. So remember that. Miz and Morrison come out for their match, and guess what? Not even an hour and a half after playing the music video on the pre-show, we get another music video.
Aren't you happy you got an encore of that amazing music video?
Greatest day of my life. So Braun comes out. Story of the match here is there is no story to the match. That's the story of the match. There is no story. Towards the end, Miz and Morrison hit a nice skull-crushing finale dropkick combo, which looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Morrison,
but I have to bring up the one thing that you didn't bring up here.
Please do.
They are tagging in and out. A tagging in and out isn't a handicap match. I don't understand the rule set for this, because it's supposed to be that it's harder on him. It needs to be 2-on-1. And the clapping of, like, I don't understand it. It makes 0 sense. Why? Like, okay, so let's say one of them, or let's say one of them got DQ'd, like attacking him with a chair.
Okay.
Would that mean that one of them went out and not the other one? No, it would mean that both of them lose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes 0 sense that they're tagging, because that makes them individuals and not the fucking team.
If anyone would like to try to explain to Fro how a handicap match works, please send your letters to Norway.
0 sense.
It takes 2
zeros.
I will provide you the address if anyone is interested. So
fucking stupid. I don't understand it. I really don't.
Okay, so more.
And that's not me trying to be smart
No,
or
he's
something.
serious.
I
He
just
doesn't understand.
I don't understand why they wouldn't just make it. Okay, then they need to say that they need to tag in and out because they're tagging in and out, and we're given zero explanation why they are tagging. I don't get it. Why are they tagging? It's not a tag team match. Is Braun Strowman all of a sudden two persons?
Well, I mean, have you looked at how tall he is and how big he is? Just saying.
That's not an argument, Bill.
Alright, so anyway, Morrison goes for the pin, but Miz pulls him off. Oh. And Miz is like, oh crap, go, pin him again, pin him again. Well, Miz gets thrown out, Morrison gets picked up, gets hit with a running power slam. Strowman retains the Universal title. I gave this a C minus. You gave it a C.
Well, I have changed my mind on that. Okay. I am going to give this an F because it makes me angry.
Alright, I have had that change now.
Because I don't understand it. I don't understand the rule set of it. It's never explained. You didn't. You tried to explain it to me, but it made zero sense. There's no fucking rules.
I'm actually using a purple pen today for those that are curious. So, if I ever put up my notepad of notes and you see a purple pen, you know what. And anyway, Meltzer gave this 1 star. CBS Sports gave it a C. ESPN gave it 2 3/4 out of 5. Then we go to the WWE Championship match. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. Before the bell rings, Lashley puts the full Nelson on McIntyre. And he's got it on. So it takes about 3 referees to get him off. And I said to Fro while we were watching this, great, we're not even going to have this match. The way this pay-per-view has gone, we're not going to have a match. So, we actually do get the match, and it ends up being a pretty good match.
Match of the night.
I have it as my second match of the night.
Yeah, match of the night for me, definitely.
Right, for you it was your match of the night. Good back and forth match, good storytelling, and it actually made Fro believe that Lashley was going to win the WWE title.
Yep.
And it got to the point, and I have to say this, because I was really pulling for Lashley on this one, that Fro said if Lashley won, he would... Oh, no, it was the other match. It's the other match. Okay.
It's not the... It's not this.
No,
I almost stopped you there.
Woo! I caught myself. We'll save up what Fro was going to say. End of the match, Lana comes out. She steps up onto the apron. Lashley almost hits Lana, but stops. Drew headbutts Lashley. Lashley goes into Lana. Lana falls on the MVP. Claymore kick. Drew McIntyre retains the WWE title. I'm really enjoying Drew McIntyre as WWE champion.
Yeah, I was very happy about this. I mean, I can't be angry.
No, this was a good match. Not quite what it was at Money in the Bank, but Drew put out a very good title match. Lashley really brought it. I was really impressed with that. I gave it a C+. You gave this a C.
Yeah.
Meltzer.
That's definitely one of my favorite matches.
Meltzer gave this 3.5 stars. CBS Sports gave it a B+. ESPN gave it 3 3/4 out of 5. Now, I wish I could say that we're going to the main event, but we're not. Because, ladies and gentlemen...
Oh, this is such a good match.
You may have heard about this next thing that we're going to talk about, but have not seen it.
I don't blame them if they haven't seen it.
I really don't. I actually showed this to 2 of my nephews earlier in the week, what we're about to talk about. And they agreed with me. This was one of the worst things I have ever seen in my life. So, remember how earlier in this review we had mentioned that the Street Profits and Viking Raiders match was now on the pay-per-view? Well, get ready, folks, because this will go down as, to me, the worst segment in WWE history.
Oh, definitely.
And that's saying something.
Oh, definitely.
So, we get word there's a fight in the back. Street Profits and Viking Raiders are fighting in the parking lot. One of them gets thrown onto Braun Strowman's car. Breaks the windshield. So they run into the Performance Center. Street Profits grab clubs. And for the record, each one grabbed a driver. I could tell because of the way the club is. Viking Raiders grab shields. Eric grabs a sword. Ivar picks up a bowling ball. So they run around. They get into a hallway. They stop. And Montez is like, why don't we put our weapons down? Put the weapons down. Put the weapons down. They all do. And, Fro, what did the 5 fingers say to the face?
What?
Slap. Yes, it was a Dave Chappelle joke. So they're split off into 2. Ford is knocked down onto the floor, legs wide open. Ivar is daydreaming about the time they had the bowling match. Ivar...
What?
Yeah. He's daydreaming about the time they were at the bowling alley. Ivar grabs his bowling ball, rolls it to Montez Ford's nuts, and he gets a strike. Then, Ivar sees Eric knocked out. Now, this spot I actually like. I actually liked this spot. Dawkins comes running, and they both go through the window of a door. And it knocks the both of them out. So, the other partners grab their respective teammates. And Ivar's like, why don't we take this outside? And Dawkins is like, tell your boy we're already outside. And then, for no reason whatsoever, we get motorcycle ninjas. And who's the leader of this motorcycle ninja gang? Akira Tozawa. Why? Why does Akira
Because racist.
Why?
Because racist.
So now we have a gang of motorcycle riding ninjas against the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders, who, when you put them together, become the Viking Profits. So they break off into groups and fight the ninjas. And they beat all the ninjas. And they're like, yay, we won! And they, did the jump pose thing. Then we get an even bigger ninja. We have a giant black ninja. And Fro, I didn't think about this until I was watching Raw Monday night. You know what this is?
No.
This is the real life My Black Son skit from Family Guy.
Oh yeah.
My black son, doing the things he can, the best that we can. Also, he's a ninja. This is what it is. So,
That's right.
Eric wants to fight this ninja, and this giant ninja pulls out a sword. Ivar apparently has the power of the Force to grab a turkey leg. And they decide, you know what, we're not going to fight this guy. So they go running up to the roof of one of their production trucks. Then they get into another argument for no reason. They all fall into this giant dumpster. They're all laying in there. And the referee, who happened to be Jessica Carr, she comes out and she's like, "What are you guys doing here? Your match is next." And then she looks at Ivar and she's like, "Ivar, you're cute. Eric, not so much." And then Montez Ford starts singing about how Ivar is cute and gets the ladies. And then all of a sudden, my first thought was, oh, it's probably a bear. You know?
That's what you said right there and then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bear, you said. I was like, no, it isn't.
Well, I thought it sounded like it. It ends up that at the Performance Center, they have giant trash squids. I kid you not. Giant trash squids. So they run out of there, and that's the end of the segment. Where in any of this was funny?
You're asking the wrong guy because I didn't laugh one single time.
I had my jaw dropped when I watched this.
I was laughing, but it wasn't for the right reasons.
Exactly. It was so terrible. And my nephews were laughing at it also because it was so terrible. And they're not even wrestling fans. I showed them this because, this isn't bad for kids to see. It's just stupid. It's stupid. You know what? Because I know Saturday Night Live gets bashed a lot. I would have rather watch 5 bad Saturday Night Live skits than see the one we saw Sunday.
Oh yeah.
And Fro, only one of the 3 gave this a grade.
Well, you did almost not give it a grade, so...
No, we did not give it a grade because it wasn't a match.
No, you didn't. I gave it a grade.
Well, you gave it an F, and a well-deserved F. But CBS Sports gave this segment a grade.
Oh, no. I'm almost afraid to ask.
They gave it a C-.
Okay. I want their drugs. I really want their kind of drugs. I really, really do.
See, I don't ever want to hear from anyone ever again that I'm too nice after going through all this.
You are too nice.
Bullshit. Alright, time for the main event. The greatest wrestling match ever. Edge versus Randy Orton. We're told before this match that we're going to get enhanced camera angles and amplified audio. So Randy Orton comes out first. He gets to the end of the ring and, oh my God, there's a camera angle on the post. Oh my God, I've never seen that before. And then Orton.
Well, that's not how they introduce it, though. You have to say what they introduce it as.
Oh, what did they
A
do?
revolutionary.
Yeah, it was revolutionary, yes. And it's like, oh my god, another post angle. Wow. So, Edge comes out,
Oh, so
and
fun.
then we get the voice of Howard Finkel announcing the two men. The referee for the match is Charles Robinson. He is wearing a blue shirt with a black bow tie. Just wanted to point that out. He gives the instructions of the match. There is to be no hair pulling, although I thought he said no ear pulling.
Well, right. I thought that as well, so it's okay.
No punches to the face, and no low blows. Remember that for the end of the match.
It's almost like it was about this match or something.
Because of how long this match is, we are not going to go over every single detail that happened.
It was a 40-minute fucking match.
A 44-minute, 45-second match. They hit other wrestlers' moves. At one point, Randy Orton attempts the Three Amigos and looked up in the sky. But remember that one tweet I read to you the other night where it's like, oh, didn't Randy say that Eddie wasn't there? He was...
Mm-hmm. He was in hell. I remember that.
Yeah. And then at one point, we get a pipe audio, "This is awesome" chant.
Oh, that was so cringe.
Oh my god. You couldn't trust the 30 people from developmental to do that? Really? End of the match. Edge has the submission move on. It's like a sleeper choke submission. He's got it on Orton. Orton knees Edge in the gonads and then hits Edge with a punt. 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton wins the match. And I pointed this out to Fro when we did our Patreon review of this.
Mm-hmm.
If you took the second and third longest matches of the show, which happened to be the WWE Championship match and Jeff Hardy against Sheamus, if you put those two together, you would still have 15 minutes of Orton and Edge to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was the best match of the show. It was not the greatest wrestling match ever. There were some good spots on it. But if you were going to really drink the Kool-Aid and say it was the greatest wrestling match you've ever seen, we might need to evaluate you. We might.
Yeah, and then, like I said on the Patreon, I had this stipulation, and I'm going to stand behind it. I'm going to say that this is probably the best match of the night. However, I said before we started watching this, and I said it in this pre-review of the show, that if this at least from me doesn't get an A- or higher, I'm going to give it an F. And that's not because I don't think it deserves another grade, but the problem is that it is sold to us as something else.
Mm-hmm. Basically, they're saying that, or what they said was, this is going to be the greatest wrestling match ever. That's basically how it came off as.
Yeah.
And if you were smart enough, you didn't buy into that. Was it a good match? Yeah, it was a good match.
Yeah. I would give it probably a B plus somewhere.
I gave it a B.
Yeah.
That was my grade. Because I wasn't going to bite the apple saying that this is the greatest wrestling match of all time, because it wasn't. But it was really good.
Yeah.
But it's not the greatest matchup.
But yeah, no, it gets automatically F for me because that's what like I said. If you say to me, you have the best banana split of all time that I'm going to taste, you need to back that up by actually giving me something that I want.
Right. Absolutely. Meltzer did not give a grade for this match, probably because it was taped. CBS Sports.
I'm not super shocked.
Are you ready for CBS Sports grade?
Oh no. A.
A plus.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep. A freaking plus.
Yeah, that isn't true though.
It's not. ESPN gave it 4 3/4 out of 5.
Mm.
And that is our review of Backlash. Now, I'm sure Fro's wondering, how did our Facebook group rate the show?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is one of the few times that I can legitimately say, Fro. Every grade was given a vote for this show.
Wow.
The majority of the people that voted gave this an F.
Good.
Some people gave it a C. Some people gave this an A.
Okay. They need to be admitted to hospital right away. Contact your local emergency. Tell them that you loved Backlash. Give them your reasons why you loved Backlash, and tell us about your alcohol problems when you come out of the hospital.
Wow. One person gave it a B. One person gave it a D. The best comment is from one of our members that gave the show an F, Sean McLaughlin, who wrote, "This was a bad show. Other than the awful Street Viking segment, the rest of the show was just bland."
Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with that.
And I think it's safe for me to say that you're giving the show an F.
Oh, yeah. Maybe the most easy F I have ever given anything.
I'm gonna give this a D. The only
here's where I think you are too nice.
Well, hold on.
Again.
Hold on. Let me make my argument. Let me make my argument.
Okay.
Pre-show match was actually good.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you haven't seen it, so you can't really say it.
No, I can't really say anything. So.
WWE title match was good.
Okay. Cool.
Main event was actually good. If it had sucked, I would have given this an F. That's all I'm saying.
But the thing is, yeah, I'm going to argue this, and this is my only argument, and I do think they should be held to a different standard because they told you this is going to be the best match of all time. I do think that if you say that, you should be held to a different standard.
You know what? No, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to take my grade back. We had the worst freaking segment in the history of WWE programming.
Okay.
I'm giving it an F.
Good. Thank you.
Screw it. How can you... Yeah.
No, you don't have to convince me. I agree.
Worst show of the year. Worst show of the year.
Well, funny thing is like we were talking about like worst pay-per-view we have ever seen, and I was like,
is going to be up in discussion.
this is definitely going to be for the discussion. I mean, like I said, I don't know if we can count the Saudi Arabia pay-per-views because they are not really
They're not
real,
really
but
pay-per-views. Yeah.
right.
Favorite match from this show? Everyone that voted, and I think we're going to agree on this, Randy Orton and Edge.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's actually one of the rare times where
but it's not getting my favorite match, like,
right.
Because, like I said.
So, this Monday night, I want to mention this real quick, because actually the next couple of weeks could be good television. NXT, this coming Wednesday, is going to have Keith Lee, Johnny Gargano, Finn Balor triple threat match for the North American title. The winner of that match on July 8th is going to face Adam Cole, winner take all. Both titles are going to be on the line.
Yeah, and with a new controversy, who do you think is going to win?
I think it's Keith Lee.
Yep, me too.
Really do.
They are not going to give Adam Cole that title now. Never, ever, ever. And that's not his fault if he's in.
No, not at all. AEW Fyter Fest is right around the corner, July 1st and July 8th. All the championships are going to be defended on those 2 weeks. So it should be good there. And on Raw this Monday night, besides having two champions, well, actually, they're both the Raw Tag Team titles and the Women's Tag Team titles are going to be defended. The Raw Tag Team title match was made by the Big Show. Because apparently Big Show has the power to make matches. It was confirmed last night, Fro. Asuka will defend the Raw Women's title against Charlotte Flair.
Yay.
So guess what's happening Monday night, folks?
That's sad.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, that's going to do it for the show for this week. So let's get into our plugs and tell you what you guys should check out. If you have any questions or comments, send an email, wrestlingman@thatwrestlingshow.com. Follow the show on Twitter @WrestlingShow11. Follow us on Instagram @ThatWrestlingShow. Join the Facebook group. It is That Wrestling Show fan group. You type that in the search bar, you're right there. And if you can't find it, it's okay. I always post the link in the description of each and every episode so you can copy and paste the link. And if you like what we do here, visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/ThatWrestlingShow. And if you want to pledge money, you can. We're not going to force you. And if you don't, it's okay. We're not going to force you. Fro, this week, what did you guys discuss on Another Digital Citizen?
Best and worst toys. Top 5 list.
I might have to check that one out.
Maybe something controversial is going to be on my list.
If it's an adult sex toy, we're going to have a talk.
No, it's not. Like, right. The best one is the...
Anyway.
The sheep I have in my bed.
Why don't you check out these other podcasts? Check out Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn. This week, it's a fun... They take a break, but this week, they do a live review of Coliseum Video's WWF Invasion 92. If you're a Star Trek fan, I would recommend it because it's a Star Trek theme videotape. So check it out, Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast. Now, if you like your podcast hosted by one individual who gets pretty cranky at times, let us recommend to you
Get eat is from Allentown.
Greetings from Allentown, hosted by PW Peter Winston. He watches one episode of wrestling each week and discusses it in his own unique way. This week, he reviews an episode of WWF Superstars from May 7th, 1988, and let's just say, Hulk Hogan makes a very interesting comment in the episode. So check it out. It is Greetings from Allentown. Also, check out Juice Pro Wrestling. This week, they interview the voice of Major League Wrestling, Rick Bashini. If I pronounced the name wrong, I apologize. You'll get to hear his journey into the world of professional wrestling, so check that out, the Juice Pro Wrestling podcast. Also, check out The Road Home from Wrestling with our pal Drucifer Jones. This week, he shares on that feed the very first episode of a brand new podcast he's starting called the Never Open Podcast, where they discuss New Japan Pro Wrestling. So check that out, The Road Home from Wrestling. Now, if you're looking for non-wrestling related podcasts, check out the Best Pick Movie Podcast with Tom, John, and Jess, where they watch and discuss each and every Academy Award-winning Best Picture winner in no particular order. Now, this week they have as their guest their friend Deborah Francis White as they discuss the Best Picture winner of 1985, Out of Africa.
Ooh, good one. Love that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
It's an okay movie.
I like it. I like the
know
book
what the other
better.
nominees were for this one?
Yeah.
We had The Color Purple,
Oh, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Kiss of the Spider Woman,
Oh, also good.
Prizzy's Honor,
Never seen it.
and Witness.
Witness. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have to go with The Color Purple. Out of them.
I've only seen Out of Africa from that group.
Oh, Color Purple is so good. Do you know who is in that? Oprah Winfrey is in that, and she's good in it.
Never heard of Oprah. That
Never heard
was
of-
worth a shot just to save how you'd react.
Right. Yeah. Never heard of Oprah Winfrey.
Right. Who's Oprah Winfrey? I never heard of her.
Mm-hmm.
But no, check that one out. That's a very interesting discussion there. It is Out of Africa, the 1985 Best Picture winner.
Da, 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 da.
Also,
Oh.
check out Unspooled with Paul and Amy as they watch each and every movie from AFI's list of the 100 greatest movies of all time, the 2007 edition. This week, they discuss Modern Times. Well, Fro's busy because he's trying to be Charlie Chaplin there. So,
Da, 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 da.
check that out.
Ma, da, 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 da.
Oh boy! So check it out, Unspooled with Paul and Amy. Also,
Da,
check.
da, 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 da.
Also, check out Last Stop Penn Station with Carrie Silken and Ian Riccaboni. This week, Carrie talks about ticket hustling in the 1990s. That could actually be a very interesting topic there, because the 90s in New York, you know, they had good sports teams in the 90s, so that could be very interesting to check out. Also, check out the Castle Vault, a chronological deep dive of Disney animated films on Disney+. This week, they discuss The Rescuers Down Under. That was actually one of the first movies I was ever taken to at a movie theater.
I love that movie.
That's an underrated movie.
It's such an underrated movie.
I mean, Bob Newhart's still alive. Could you pull off a third one?
It's like Bernard and Bianca.
Yeah.
Like, who talks about Bernard and Bianca? I love the Bernard and Bianca goes to Australia.
Come on, we gotta complete the trilogy. But they won't. I know it. It was worth a shot. But check it out anyway, the Castle Vault, if you are into Disney. Also, check out Shark's Pond, a South Park podcast where I watch and review each and every South Park episode. This week, I have made it to the end of Season 9 of South Park, where I reviewed the Season 9 finale, Bloody Mary. And you'll get to hear why I think that episode is more controversial than Trapped in the Closet.
Oh, I agree.
And on Sunday, it is Eliminated, a Royal Rumble podcast with myself and Jim Boy Star. This week, we are going to take one more look at Kane, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker's elimination totals, and we will figure out once and for all who is the true king of eliminations in the Royal Rumble match.
Mm.
Phew. Next week, we have no pay-per-view to watch.
Oh, thank God.
We need a break from that. So, you know what?
We're going to have a short show next week.
I got a book in front of me I can read next week.
No, we're going to have a short show next week.
Read a book?
We are going to have a short show next week.
All right, so we'll have a short show next week unless something big happens. Everybody, have a good, safe weekend. It is Father's Day weekend, so happy Father's Day on Sunday to all you dads out there.
Yeah, especially my dad.
When you're done either going for a round of golf or eating out on the grill or drinking or whatever it is you do with your dad, come back here next week for another episode of That Wrestling Show, the podcast where all pro wrestling matters. And as always,
it's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more can do. I bless the rain down in Africa.
Good thing I didn't tell Fro about the Weezer version. Wrestle on.
The wrestle on. I know.